Hey folks, today I'm going to make a knife. I had a commission piece for a friend of mine. I was supposed to make him a sheath, and when I went to grab the shit off the counter, it fell, and the knife broke. So, I'm going to make my boy another knife, because that's fucked up. So, the things are a knife, a little hole in it, oh for fuck's sakes, like that. And I use a piece of scrapwood here. And when you use a piece of scrapwood, you want to be careful about things like this. Like I'm going to cut here to finish off this crack in the wood here. Now I'm going to thin this too for the handle, but you want to avoid having as many cracks in it as possible. It's not going to fuck the handle up, but you know, for sensibility's sake. Anyway, so you want that. You want 2 screws, a pencil, a jigsaw, and a drill. And there we go. Alright. So now we have a smaller piece. We have a fitted edge. Finished. Whatever. So now I'm going to tear this wacky bullshit off of here, and I'm going to look at it and see where I got the least cracks. There's no big cracks like all the way down here, so I'm going to use this. I got staples in here, so I'm going to pull them out real quick, and then we'll be back to take measurements. I can't imagine any of y'all wouldn't be able to figure this out, but for getting the staples out of the wood, you just get a pair of pliers, and you grab that pull out. Staples. So, we've got our piece of wood, we know where it's at, and we want to figure out about how big we want this to be. So, I'm going to hold it right there, and say I'm going to have a hilt, so then I'm going to want to put it up like that. But since this one's just going to come directly out of the blade, I think, I'm going to hold it right there, and I'm going to draw a line. See if that's even visible on camera. Sure, yeah it is. So I'm going to hold that just a little bit above the edge of this here. And then I'm going to make a line here. And I'm going to make a line here where the nail's going to go. And you can tell where the nail's going to go because it's got that little hole there. And that's going to be the top screw that closes the 2 pieces of this knife. So then you want to figure out how far down you want this thing to go. If you know this is your top here, so you want to have your hand around it. And so what I do is I put my hand about like that. Casual. Like, not like gripped up, so, because we want it to have some extra. You know, if it's a little big, it's not that bad. So then I'm just going to mark where I want that. And I'm going to go probably like maybe a knuckle and a half down from my hand. So I'll probably go right there. And then you can get the idea of about what kind of handle that's going to be. I just want y'all to see what I'm working with as far as camera right now. I just have my phone and I'm just propping it against all sorts of things on this table. So, if the camera angles are shit, super sorry. I am not a professional. So I want to, now that I have the piece that I'm going to cut figured out here, I want to drill my holes so that way once I split the piece, I can just drill it all easily, or screw it all easily. So I'm going to put the knife right where it's going to be. I'm going to make a little pencil mark. I know that it's right there. And then just drill it out. And make sure the drill bit's just like a fucking size smaller than the screw, so the screw still bites, so you don't have a slippy, floppy fucking bullshit handle. Yeah, so from this point, we got one of our holes. Now we could measure exactly to get exact measurements. But what I really want to do is just simplify it, and I'll put the knife there, and then just kind of get a good gauge on what would be about equal. And it ain't, you know, it ain't gonna hurt anything if it's just a centimeter off. I mean, fuck, it's just holding two pieces of wood together, ain't it? So we're gonna drill that. Okay. So here comes the fun part. We're gonna split, or rip technically, but I don't have a circular saw and a rip gauge, so I'm just gonna use the jigsaw to do it. But we're gonna take this piece, the sectioned off area, right down the middle like that, so that way we can tuck a knife down in it and screw it together, and then we can work on it from there. I'm gonna listen to Fats Waller while we do it. Well, the YO is covering Fats Waller.
Record that feature the washboard. Everybody loves a washboard, so we're gonna play a little Fats Waller tune. Alright.
Wrong way. Hello again. Okay. Now we split it that way, and then we're going to move it and cut along our line. I have never made an instructional video before, and I'm stoned, so I'm sure this is going to be a gem. But yeah, so you got that cut made down the center there, and I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get this cut off here. But then we're going to come along this side, right along the line that we drew for the length we wanted, right? And saw them bitches off. Two pieces. Gonna be one piece with two nails. Okay, so for the next part, we're gonna take the handle as it's supposed to be with the cut side on cut side, and we're gonna line it up so we can see where those holes are. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take it apart and drill, screw those holes, so that way when I gotta go down through the knife, there's no confusion, and it's just a nice smooth if I don't fuck it up. I'm gonna do that to all of these. Oh, come on. I'm telling you, star bits are the worst thing. The worst thing. The next part, is take the knife, and we put that little circle right on the hole where it's going to go, and then we mark the outline of that post to where it's going to be on the piece of wood. And then inside that outline, what we're going to do is we're going to, since we don't have a router, we're going to drill a couple little holes, not in all the way, just basically like indentations that happen to be, by the use of a drill bit, around the same thickness as that piece of metal right there. You might have to do a pass on either side if it's a little bit wider. It's not the worst thing in the world. And it's kind of tricky, but it's not. It's simple if you be simple about it. And I've already done this to the other one. I just wanted to show that this is the way I do routing without a router. And yes, it is messy. No, it is not perfect. But it is functional. It does work. It just is not as, clean as it might be if I had, say, an actual routing machine. See, there I went too deep. And then just to clean it up, that's okay. That should fit that just tightly, and it does. Delicious. So then I'm going to take my two professionally routed pieces of wood. I'm going to put them together, and I'm going to put my blade in this one. I'm going to make sure I know where my hole is. It's right there. I'm going to put my blade in there, and I'm going to put my blade in that one. And I'm going to check and see and make sure that they close snug, and they don't quite, so we're going to do a little bit more drilling and then tighten it up, and then we'll come back. So the next step, you take that, tuck it into your hole. There you go. And make sure that's going to work, and it will. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this screw, I'm going to put this screw down into here. A little ways, just sticking out a little so I can put that knife down on it and know that it's secure. It's not quite, so I'm just going to tap her into place there. And now she's all set and ready to go. And then you put your sides together. Make sure your blade's straight. And you screw it all together. And you've got the basic beginnings of a knife. I'll put in the next screw down here, and then we'll get onto the sanding and carving and staining part. Okay, so this part's really important too. You're going to have that after you put them through there. So all you have to do is take one of these and cut them fuckers. And it's going to take some snipping, There's one. I'll do number 2 here, and you want to go down on them so that way you get more, I guess, torque. I don't even know what the fuck. And after you do that, you just have these little nubs sticking out. I'm just going to hammer them out. Just hammer them flat. Fuck it. I made my knife wiggly. Had to figure out how to fix that. So I started to run out of space on my phone. So I skipped a few steps. I went and did some jigsawing to give it general shape. So at this point, I'm putting in these back notches. I'm beating on it with a wedge like that. You make little jigsaw incisions. And then you crack it with the wedge. And then I'm going to take this file to it around the edges here, like that, to round them off. And then I'm going to take sandpaper to the whole thing. And then I'm going to stain it, and we'll be back for that. Alright, so after a shit ton of sanding and filing, we now have this rudimentary little handle. And now I'm going to go and get the stain, and we're going to stain it, and then let that dry, and then we've got ourselves a knife. I used nails to keep that in there stable because I put it in, I made the hole a little too big, so I used nails to do that, and it's good and stable now. And that's gonna be the knife. So there it is, the finished product. It has finished drying on it right now, and then tomorrow in the morning I'm going to apply a little bit more finish, and it'll be all done and set and ready. And so the way I got that kind of coloring where it goes from like a red to the natural is I used some primer, some red primer, and some wood finish, and that's all I used. And the way I got that look, hopefully this sees it, is I basically took the knife by the handle and I held it at a distance and I kind of just gave it a little spray with that primer, and then from more distance I gave it a little dotting to give it gradient, and then after that dried I applied finish, and that's the whole story. Thanks for watching me make a knife. I hope this was educational, if at least a little clunky and weird, and probably edited together strangely. Anyway, this is Bellow Heart. Thanks for watching. See ya.